Hello and welcome. I'm Kelsey Percy here with Christian Johnson. We are so excited to welcome you to the first home game for Minnesota Strike. Strike today is taking on the Milwaukee Monarchs, and this will be the third game for the Strike, second game for Monarchs, but first time these two teams are facing off this year. Today we are in a stadium of James Griffith. Last minute change for these teams here in St. Paul, Minnesota. Low wind today, really good circumstances for both these teams that had to play through some inclement weather. KJ, Christian, why don't you give us a quick rundown on what these teams have faced so far this season?
Yeah, a quick reminder on the rules for the Premier Ultimate League as you watch the Minnesota Strike's 2026 season. The objective of Ultimate is to move the disc down the field with the goal of catching the disc in the end zone for a score. There are 4 12-minute quarters. In all 4 quarters, the final possession will continue until a score or a turnover occurs. This is different from previous seasons. Players can't run with the disc, although the disc can be passed in all directions. Ultimate is a self-officiated, non-contact sport, meaning the players themselves call their own fouls and resolve disputes. The rules are based on USAU, or USA Ultimate, as many people call it, rules, with some timing and stoppage modifications. And we have observers to help move the game along and actively call in and out of bounds and other specific calls.
Well, and KJ, some people in the audience might not be familiar with observers versus referees. Why don't you speak a little bit to the difference? What can we expect from our observers in this game?
Yeah, so observers make active calls, such as if the disc is up or down, in and out of bounds calls on the sidelines, in or out of the end zone on the front or back lines of the end zone. Yeah, as well as offsides on the pole. We have a picture right here of the observers in green. We'll be seeing that throughout the game here, and they'll also help with contested calls as well.
So our observers today, head observer is Biff Reiser. We also have Max Baker, Willis Erler, Mari Shoemaker. They're going to be holding it down on the field for this teams. We appreciate the hard work they do. So KJ, both of these teams, as we mentioned, have played already this season. Minnesota Strike had a 2-game road trip where they played against New York Gridlock and then also against Philadelphia Surge. Tell us a little bit about those games and what the Strike experienced.
Yeah, so for that first game, they played the Gridlock. Started off pretty strong, winning the first quarter 3-2, and then just kind of dwindled in energy throughout the game. Gridlock ended up on top in that first game. And then they had the Philadelphia Surge, which was a lot more competitive a game for the Strike. They were able to go toe-to-toe with them, coming within a point late in the fourth quarter, and really looked to take it to the Surge. On paper, Surge looks like they're a better team, but it was a really good game that the Strike gave them.
Sounds like a lot to build off. Now, Milwaukee also played a game. They played against Indianapolis Red, and they, in what was considered an upset, they took down Red. Tell me just a little bit about that game.
Yeah, pretty turnover-heavy game. The Monarchs have only played 1 game so far this season, but yeah, gained that victory against the Red. Coaches before the game were saying they're just kind of take every season as a new season. Obviously improving on last year's 0-5 start, really strong to start off 1-0 for the Monarchs.
All right, so we do have a couple reads that we want to give some credit to. First off, Ultrastar, Discraft Ultrastar is the official disc of the Premier Ultimate League. Discraft, the world leader in disc sports. Also want to recognize Breakmark Ultimate Apparel as the exclusive official uniform sponsor of the Minnesota Strike and the entire Premier Ultimate League. Get your official Strike jerseys, hats, and more at teams.breakmark.com/group/PUL. And if you plan to enjoy today's stream, please consider donating by scanning the QR code on your screen or at strikeultimate.com. Minnesota Strike is a non-profit organization, and all donations go towards player pay, travel costs, and bringing you high-quality broadcasts like the one today. Thank you for supporting the Minnesota Strike.
All right, one more time for Andrea. Let's get ready.
Looks like we just had our opening poll there, first poll before the actual game starts.
So a bit of a ceremonial recognition, and we will be getting the information here shortly on who will be polling and receiving. Does look like Milwaukee will be starting on defense. We'll confirm that here in just a minute.
The Minnesota Strike will be receiving on offense in the east.
Yeah, so did get confirmation. Strike will be receiving. They will be starting on offense. So KJ, just as we're waiting for play to initiate, we did get a chance to speak to coaches from both sides. To you, what would be a successful start for Strike and a successful start for Monarch based off of those conversations?
Yeah, the Strike just have a lot of new handlers on their O-line that are playing with each other this season. Lots of turnover from those main cogs in the system like Erica Bacon that we constantly see with the Strike and various other Minnesota teams. With talking to the coaches before the game, specifically Maggie Peck, they had a lot of small space turnovers, right? A lot of miscommunications and chemistry errors. So I think if we see them in sync in small spaces in the backfield, I think that'd be very successful for Strike moving into the first few quarters here. Similarly, Monarch, we talked to their coaches. They just want to make sure to ride the waves of the vibe of the game.
Yeah,
Direct
I love
quote,
that.
right? Yeah. No spikes in energies, positive or negative. Obviously, this is a border battle between the two teams, so.
Yeah, a lot of history here.
Yeah, lots of history.
Well, and let's make a quick note of players that are out and will not be playing today, because that will have an impact. We do have the pull up, so a little bit more on that. So Minnesota starting, getting the disc in good position. They are almost to the halfway mark. Immediate initiation by Danny Byers. You're going to see a lot more of that this game. Strike quickly moving the disc, not letting the stall count rise much at all. Right now, Raisin Johnson and Michaela Daly really working in the backfield, but an inside shot just two behind the cutter, and that gets knocked away. First break opportunity for Monarch.
Yeah, Annika Vermeek here, swinging the disc back to the middle.
I love how Strike immediately sets a quick zone, challenging sometimes for the defense to work that, but the poise of Milwaukee, they're showing a lot of patience. And KJ, we heard about possession from the coaches, right?
Yeah, lots of possession. Obviously, their last game, we got a big shot to the end zone here.
Big shot, just not enough air on that. It ran out the way. Mia Beeman-Weber looking to pick up. And Weber, one of the additions to this Strike team that they're very excited about.
Yeah, Mia playing with Carlton Syzygy in their undergrad. Syzygy is a perennial powerhouse for D1 College Nationals, always looking to be vying for the championship. They were in the final last year versus UBC.
All right, Kirshner right now with the disc. Strike kind of pinned to this sideline. They get a little bit further off with Byers, and this is just a straight four side all the way down. Beeman-Weber under pressure, but gets the disc, pulls it in. First goal goes to Minnesota Strike.
Yeah, that one's going to be hard to stop. I mean, when Beeman-Weber has steps like that going deep, I mean, Mia is quite taller than pretty much everyone on either team.
And KJ, that was just such, in Ultimate you call it flow, right? Just that progression down the side. And we're seeing that D first, I like that Milwaukee took the shot deep, but that is an opportunity lost and not necessarily the possession they were looking for. But this flow, talk about that from Strike.
Yeah, Strike has great isolation cutters downfield, allowing space for one another to work. Just like the spacing downfield here to allow cutters to be in space and win their one-on-one matchup here. You can see it going down the sideline here, one-on-one matchup. Yeah, and then Beeman-Weber just could jog underneath that one. Really good placement from Byers there on that throw.
Yeah, it's out in front, able to attack it. Defender doesn't really have a play. All right, so pull is up from Strike. Now it is Milwaukee's chance to respond. And they'll begin with Rachel Kern starting with the disc. Kern is a newer addition to this team and one Milwaukee is very excited about. Looks over to Aaron Schrader. Schrader is one of the powerhouses of this Milwaukee team, someone whose name you'll be hearing a lot. Love that inside shot. risky. Defense made a play, but Milwaukee just continuing to march down the field unfazed. A little bit of a flat mark I'm seeing, KJ, from Strike on this defensive look.
Yeah, before the game, we were told from the coaches they're going to have a little bit flat of a mark, right? Make them work through their handlers, take away those deep shots from Monarchs.
And you're seeing Milwaukee up. Big shot up from Schrader into the end zone, right on the line. Ooh. Oh, and it is called out. That was tough.
So close.
Trying to make a play. Very, very close. Lipscomb unable to keep her toes in. I liked that shot from Schrader, but look at this again.
Let's see this. Oh, yeah. Toe looked like it was on the line there. Tough call for the observer, but obviously they're a little bit closer than we are up at that span point.
Yep, and that might have just been first contact being out. Maybe a lack of awareness there. Immediate shot response, though. Frankie Sereniti just feet from the end zone line. Strike not waiting at all to respond. Shot across the field. Claire Lee brings it home.
Beautiful.
And the first break goes to Minnesota Strike.
Yeah, great from the Strike there to strike early on the turn, right? Looked like the Monarchs players there had a little bit of hard time recovering from that. Maybe that in and out call and indecision from trying to figure out whether the ball is in and out of bounds allowed for the Strike to really gain momentum down the field quickly, strike early on that turn.
Well, and there was no hesitation, right?
No.
They just went straight for it. Sereniti really capitalizing. So we're going to get one more look at this close call. And take a look. Inbounds. First, just maybe on the line.
Yeah, it looked like the foot was just barely on the line there on that turn for
and
the Monarchs.
For those at home, the line is out.
Yes. Yeah.
And then you see that big shot going up to Sereniti. I loved the hustle from Strike getting down.
Oh, yeah. Follow the play, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean.
Multiple options because the defense was there. You can see Monarch really pivoting, trying to take away those looks. I love the positioning from the mark, going to the person instead of immediately just establishing a mark, but clearly out to space and a good throw from Sereniti. So Monarch will need to respond here. Schrader loves these inside angles, also known for their backhand, and that is something that we will be keeping an eye on because Strike is very aware of that also. You can see these flat marks. Monarch really forced to kind of carve away the edges or do these laser shots on the inside, and they are marching up the field, but continually pinned to the sideline.
Yes.
So right across, Schrader going to cone. Sereniti unable to put on the pressure, and Schrader just doing everything for Monarch on that point.
Yeah, I mean, Schrader just marching them up the field there, right? And then allowing to get back to the middle of the field there and striking up line. Really, really good point. Just moving the ball, driving the bus there for that score for the Monarchs.
And that is hard to shut down. That will be very, very difficult. The only thing, KJ, would you consider a switch there? That's such a long upline cut.
Yeah, exactly. You should be looking for a switch there, especially when that's a really long developing 20-plus yard upline, right? Be calling actively for a switch with your immediate defender there to take that away.
Well, and just for those at home to know, in the last game against Red, Schrader had 3 goals and let me triple check that. 3 assists and 2 goals and the most touches of anyone on the field. So very much a high volume player, but also is tied in the league for 3rd with total assists at 42.
Wow. Yeah.
So you see the dual capability there, able to score, but also someone that they look to punch in those from a throwing perspective.
Yeah, if the Monarchs are going to have success today, it's going to be a lot of Schrader touching the disc, right? Getting a bunch of high volume touches and really just like marshaling that offense downfield. More isolation cutting here. Love this.
And I love the heads up approach there. You see Austin Pruka dancing, pivoting out, taking away that inside shot before going in and establishing a mark on defense. Very heads up, veteran defensive play. And you can see that sagging defense coming out there. Raisin Johnson using those fakes to communicate. Working with Daly in the background. That's a tight throw. But Regan picks it up. Steph Wood now. These are all open side cuts, but the windows are getting smaller as strike goes down the field. They need a reset, and their first and their second were defended. Beeman Weber finally breaking the field open. There was some contact on the far side. Byers currently with the disc.
Yeah, you can see the strike there starting off in a horizontal or spread offense as they're getting closer and closer down the field, getting into that vertical set where they're aligned in the middle of the field, one on top of each other.
Did it really feel, to your perspective, that Monarch really cramped and elevated the level of intensity on their defense?
Oh yeah, and lots of heads up from below the stack in those cutters, right? And just those quick flashes like we saw from Pruka in the beginning of the point. Right.
Strike in the red zone. Still being forced backward on these swings. Beeman Weber, though, continually open, getting the Childress matchup, but Steph Wood to the cone past the bidding defender.
I mean, how are you going to stop that? Steph Wood, obviously very, very good in small spaces, one of the faster cutters that we have in the league. Beeman Weber just has to oblige her to the front cone there.
And Beeman Weber definitely the successful piece in terms of getting that reset that strike needed. Those two resets, if those don't go, strike is really in a lot of trouble. But instead, it felt like they handled that pressure. That's a clean hold. Yeah,
Beeman Weber with Jasmine Childress, too, one of the other spotlights on the Monarchs. Really, really stout defender from UCSB, coming and moving to the Milwaukee, Madison area. Yeah, Johnson McKee getting the disc here.
You can see these really horizontal cuts, strikes, if you will.
Yeah, Beeman Weber, they did a really good job of setting up that cut there, going to the break side, coming up line, getting Jasmine Childress on her heels. And yeah, just the easy score to Steph there.
Well, and KJ, did you notice the throw choice as well?
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't a flick, could have been, but instead of a very, very soft, scoopy backhand.
Yeah, those hard little flicks are kind of hard to get off in quick and small spaces. You see a lot of players opting for those little backhands or push passes, even those 5-yard or under spaces. It's a lot easier to get off.
Backhand going up from Schrader. Double defense there, but Milwaukee pulls it down. Monshine did an excellent job of peeling away and assisting on that, but now Milwaukee in the red zone. And after an incredible effort, disc does go to the ground. Strike had someone going deep, but Milwaukee doing an excellent job of just taking away those options. Strike now looking to get some momentum going upfield.
Yeah, and like we covered at the beginning of the broadcast, that Aaron Schrader backhand, right? They're looking to get that off, and we saw that connection on that hook there.
Wright getting open upfield. But as he hits the sideline, just goes to the ground.
Yeah, Millie Wright, a new player from Fusion in Winnipeg, coming down to play for the Minnesota Strike. Love to see that Canadian connection.
One of these days, KJ, we might get a Canadian team joining the PUL or even the WL, but for now, happy to have those players contributing to the league. Monarch now with a really big opportunity. They need a break to get back in the game and get a little bit more parity here in this first quarter.
Great mark there from Cassidy, seeing that she's bringing the ball back to the sideline here.
Krawcheck Kumrad just being so active and pinging off the hands of Emily Cohen. This has been one of the higher turn points so far.
Yeah.
Claire Lee squares up, lets a shot go for Ellie Fireside Ostergaard. Ellie gets the inside space in, rips it down.
Great read from Ellie there. Yeah, Claire just playing the ball up and letting her teammate make a play on it. Really, really good read from Ellie Fireside Ostergaard there.
And KJ, you saw Claire Lee had the ability to take that shot earlier, but waited. And I loved the choice to put it up to Ellie Fireside Ostergaard. That's a know your teammate.
Right.
Know that she's got hops, even though she's one of the shorter players on the field. So again, this shot from Aaron Schrader.
Wow.
Just ripped down through the defense without physicality or any fouls. And then again, this shot from Claire Lee. Look at the height. Ellie Ostergaard gets the inside positioning and then just goes up like a boss.
Yeah, Ostergaard with a great read on that. Like you said, Kelsey, I really like Claire just taking a half second, watching for this play to develop, and then just letting your teammate make a play on it, right? Ostergaard has some steps. Let her go make a play on it. Really good read in the end zone there.
So Minnesota Strike just steamrolling along. Now again, though, this Milwaukee team is one that came into this game with some momentum. They won a scrappy game against Red. They are not out of the picture in any way, shape, or form, but they have to focus and get this point right now or they could be in hot water. Schrader in the backfield with Kern. And you can see these kind of peel cuts going to the outside, really trying to beat that flat mark.
Great mark from Jess Hendrickson here, keeping it on the sideline. High stall count.
Lipscomb trying to direct traffic. It does look like there's a call downfield. We did see love hand signals. Foul, no contest, coming from Monshine. Emily Cohen, the fouled party. And for a foul, no contest, this is taking a little minute to get started again.
Yeah.
Quick reset to Schrader. Immediately fires crossfield. That inside flick is devastating. Just so quick on the release.
Yeah, Schrader has a quick trigger on that. She's been able to get quite a few of them off.
Cohen throws to Pruka. Pruka catches through pressure. Now the shot's up inside. Almost got it into the end zone. Chose to play the disc instead. Milwaukee is inches away and has momentum attacking the corner. There it goes. Pick call. Will it come back?
There's a pick called on the play. The disc goes back. Stays with Milwaukee.
All right, so disc back centered for Milwaukee. Milwaukee staying disciplined. Cuts going to both sides. Pruko, defense pressure, goes up, skies, disc for Milwaukee Monarch. They are back on the board.
Yeah, that was good for the Monarchs to get that one going there. Obviously, right the ship after getting broken the previous point. Pruka has a little bit of a size advantage there on Ava Fisher. Once again, just putting the ball where your teammate's going to make a play on it, right? Really good spot there for Monarchs for the goal.
Well, and Pruka's so good at using her size and physicality, really got the inside spot.
Yeah, feed
Watch
from
with how
Roach
she
here.
positions.
Yeah.
Just going up strong, full confidence.
Yeah, and Roach just putting it to a spot of the field. Obviously, there's going to be no other defenders there, right? Reeds, Chalgren stops, and it was actually kind of blown coverage there from Chalgren. Ava Fisher getting over there to help with D. Really good cutting there from Pruka to set that up.
Mm-hmm. Strike has been doing a good job. Actually, I'll call it both teams have been doing a good job of help defense and recognizing when a play has gone awry or a shot is going up. So that's something that I'd love to see more of throughout this game. So Milwaukee now with the disc, getting a chance to put their defense out and see if they can make Strike flinch.
Pruka taking a couple points on here in a row too. See if she can apply some of the pressure here. Defense.
Pruka won a Masters Nationals last year with Bitter, and I believe is on that Worlds team as well. Someone who truly has the endurance to go all day.
Oh yeah.
Big long pull up
pull.
from Milwaukee, all the way to the 30-yard line.
Yeah, it looks like Monarch is coming down a different set here. It looks like a 2-4-1. We have two handlers back, and you see that front wall of four with a deep help on top. Really stifling that isolation, kind of cutting that Strike wants to get into.
Strike really using quick give-go movement, trying to break through those walls. Gonna be interesting to see. And
looks like they're out of it now. Yeah, going to person matchup here now. Oof.
And you could see the frustration from Raisin Johnson. Just the body language saying, I did not mean to do that. And considering how well they had disabled that junk look, to then turn the disc so quickly. That is a frustrating. So big opportunity here. Milwaukee could get a break. They've got a 1-and-1 down the field. Chesner going, had yards. Redding's going, has yards. Shot to Redding. Bidding pulls it up.
Great layout there from Redding. Really good possession there from the D-line for Monarchs, and we get a great celebration there. Probably trying to emulate a Monarch there, Redding was. So.
Redding was the goal leader from the game against the Red. Had 3 goals in that game, notching that first goal here today.
Yeah, Pruka again just making her stamp on the game here. Sadie Redding, former Minnesota player at University of Minnesota, then Minnesota Ninjas. Yeah, Raisin just not getting around the mark here, sealing that away shot, and once again, just a fantastic catch there from Sadie.
Quick recognition for one of our sponsors, A Bar of Their Own. Check out A Bar of Their Own in South Minneapolis. Midwest's finest first sports bar to exclusively show women's sports, including the away games for your Minnesota Strike. Check out A Bar of Their Own. And KJ, I can say as someone who's been, that's a really fun spot. If you haven't seen the movement, everyone watches women's sports.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things in the past couple of years.
Yeah, I love going to the Bar of Their Own. Also, my wife and I are Lynx season tickets holders, so
let's go.
Occasionally when we aren't able to go see the game in person, we'll go to a Bar of Their Own. Really, really good spot. Really good owners. Love that spot.
Minnesota.
Little dominator set here from Minnesota with these 3 players in the backfield here.
I love the patience. Getting over to that backside shot to Byers. One shot. Boom. Byers gets that score.
Yeah, really good possession there. I like the kind of curveball that the O-line sent there with a little bit of a different look with that dominator set with the handlers. And it just sets up this perfect power position here, right? Michaela gets to the middle field, has both 45s of her pivot. Just a great strike to Byers. And just the patience from Byers to know when to attack off that dominator. Really, really good play there from Byers.
So something I want to shout out, Danny Byers is currently 3rd in the league for total goals at 40. And Rachel Mast is the next up in second place with 43. Byers gets 2 more. She's tied for second.
I mean, does it surprise anyone? The verticality threat that Byers has, really good timing and speed off her cuts, and really, really good north and south cutter on this team.
Surprises no one. However, I'll add one more. With the assist that Schrader got earlier, that I believe moves her out of tied for 3rd. She had 42 assists, now has 43. We could see some more action in the overall leaderboard as well. Check out the PUL website if you're looking for those records, because they are on that website, and it's a fun little walk down history lane.
Just as we're talking about Schrader here.
Just the dual threat, that deep attack, 3 defenders, and still just running down the disc. Milwaukee on the doorstep here. Kearns really marshaling the offense in the backfield. Working with Duffner. Duffner dings off the hand but brings it in. A lot of patience here from Fenn. And just that quick, so fast on that recognition, I honestly would wait until I see the observers. But the confidence of I know I was in, I know I had it, and then the celebration.
Yeah, Emily Cohen with the goal there.
That was so smooth.
That was Sarah Lipscomb there on the goal.
Absolutely. Sarah Lipscomb doing that. Another supporter of your Minnesota Strike. The Black Heart of St. Paul is a queer soccer bar in the heart of Midway, a bar that brings people together for a drink, drag, or an ultimate watch party. The Black Heart of St. Paul is also the official post-game party location for all Minnesota Strike home games. And we do have a good-sized crowd here today, KJ. And that'll be a spot that a lot of these folks are heading to afterwards.
Yeah, wouldn't be surprised.
it's not cold, and I say this as a non-Minnesotan there, but it's not cold today, but it's not warm either. Probably perfect for these players. Mia Weber sends a slinger, but it's low. Just a little bit maybe on her back foot. That shot intended for Byers. Redding was going to pick it up. Rethinks it, but Byers still taking the mark. Love that long wingspan on the mark, KJ.
We can see a zone set up here from Strike trying to get the Monarchs out of their rhythm here as they get the possession for their D-line-O.
And I love that call in the red zone to make that quick adjustment. That's something that Strike would not have done a couple of years ago, so that's a nice system. High shot up. Pruka, full confidence, had Mia Beeman-Weber in the area, but just so precisely thrown. Now Milwaukee threading through. Zone is still holding. They haven't collapsed, and now it looks like they're going person. Jasmine Childers currently with the disc. Looks cross field, finds Pruka, just breaks the whole field open. Pruka with the give-go action there, cutting across field. Milwaukee just showing such confidence in their handlers to really get momentum going. And you can see the patience from the cutters downfield, not really budging, letting the handlers do their flow. So the clock did go to 0. Now in the PUL, that doesn't mean play stops.
Right, yeah, no. So at the end of quarters here, whoever has the possession of the disc as the clock hits 0 will maintain possession of the disc until there's a score or a turnover, and that's the end of the quarter.
So for Strike to quote-unquote win this possession, they would need to get a D, but then they cannot counterattack. Milwaukee, however, is under no time pressure. So long as they maintain possession, they can continue to play. Milwaukee on the doorstep. Pruka right now, very patient. Stall count rising. Slams a shot in, just eking, and Childers there. That looked like a bit of a Hail Mary, KJ.
Wow, yeah, and then once again, Pruka just putting their mark on the game, right? Just ushering that D-line down the field. Yeah, and that was just kind of like a last-bit effort, right, to Childress there. Childress with eons of space there on the break side, tie it up at the end of the first quarter. Yeah, really interesting there, right? It seemed like Strike were kind of pulling away with it in the first half of that first quarter there, and then before you know it, Monarchs have it tied up at the end of the first quarter.
I mean, it really feels like a momentum switch, and it is just a little bit of a seesaw, right?
Yep, yep.
So takeaways from this first. We'll come back with some more insights here in just a bit, but we're going to go to a quick break. More action when we come back. Hello and welcome back. We are here for some second quarter action of the Minnesota Strike versus Milwaukee Monarch. It has been a feisty first quarter. Minnesota had a significant lead, but Milwaukee has come back and tied things up, now 5-5. KJ, quick summary of that first quarter. What did you see?
Yeah, Strike were just having their way on offense, right? And Milwaukee came out with a couple adjustments on their D-line, and all it took was a couple turnovers, and it's a game again, 5-5, 0-0, if you're one of those keeping score at home. Schrader, once again, just making their mark on the game.
Yeah, Schrader and Kern really leading the backfield here. But you see Milwaukee getting forced to the sideline. That shot over the top found an open Caitlin Duffer. Duffer flips it. Celebration for the camera. That was too casual.
Yeah, wow. That's the possession you want coming out of a quarter like that, right? Schrader over to Glinka, Glinka to Duffner, right? Just an easy hold there for the Monarchs.
Easy hold, clean hold too.
Yeah, clean hold. Yeah, in a game in the previous Indy Red game, right? I don't know if you're looking at the stats afterwards. Not a lot of clean holds in that game. It's pretty windy, so Milwaukee loves that. Love Duffner giving the deuces to the crowd there.
So that was a force line. KJ, if you were the Strike, would you make any adjustments to your mark based off of how easy that shot was?
Yeah, I mean, before the game we were talking to our D-line coaches, right, being a little bit more straight up on the mark. The Monarchs have a lot of really competent deep throwers, right? And so, yeah, I think you just kind of seal that mark there, get in front, and make them beat you with their handlers, right? So.
Yeah, make the handlers use their legs, not give them the benefit of that throw. We do have a good-looking crowd here in Minnesota. You can see them filling in. Chilly weather, but no rain. We'll take it, right?
Yeah. We got our bearded man here, Grant Schrader. That's Aaron Schrader's brother, actually. Played with him back in the day in YCC.
Love that. For those back home that don't know, YCC is the Youth Club Championships. It's one of the best programs for teaching youth how to play at a high level. Both Minnesota and Milwaukee and Madison. A lot of Madison players on this Milwaukee team, kind of a half and half. That shot from Beeman Weber just grounded out, maybe short on their step out.
Got a call here on the field.
Call on the field. I do think the play will stay. Maybe an injury.
Injury on the field.
But yeah, that shot grounding out. Milwaukee here has the lead. However, they are on serve. Remember, Minnesota started receiving the disc in the first quarter.
Looks like Bollinger's taking the injury there. Don't know what's happened, but
from the way she was limping, maybe got stepped on.
Yeah, hoping for the best there.
Yeah, we'll hope it's that, because that's something that typically gets shaked off. But if we get any updates, we'll definitely let you know.
Looks like Duffner's replacing her on that injury.
So Milwaukee to pick up the disc here. This is a big opportunity. They could go up really for the first time this game. Tight shot there. Monshine peeled off. Duffner going deep. Tried to adjust. I liked the line of that, but just too short. That was an absolute gift for Strike.
Yeah, Strike was really a gifted opportunity there, right? You saw them come out with a zone there, and they were just really off to the races there.
Byers up to Regan. Big shot going deep. Steph Wood trying to chase it down, and does. Pure foot speed there from Steph Wood.
Yeah, great put there from Allegra McKee, right? Steph Wood, one of the fastest players, like I said earlier in the broadcast, in the PUL. I don't know if you watched that play from the Surge last week, was it? I don't know if you saw her layout. Same kind of deal, just running away with it. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a back corner. Inclement weather as well.
Yeah, Steph, really, really good there. Really good timing. And Johnson McKee, once again, just putting the ball out in the space and just allowing your teammate to make a play on it. Really good for the Strike there, just to get a quick hold after that D that they got on that short throw.
So Strike gets to put their defense back out there.
Yeah, it's been a while since the D-line's touched the field here, right? We had the Monarchs with a quick hold out of the quarter, so let's see if we can get some pressure here and
Well, and talking about the defense, Strike missing a key defensive piece here today, right?
Yeah,
Jane Cook?
Yeah, Jane Cook. She always takes one of the top offensive players, generally a cutter defender, right? Previous time when they played the gridlock, right? She was guarding Jolie Krebs, and Krebs wasn't as effective. And if I remember correctly, she's second in the PUL, correct? All-time blocks, 24.
All-time blocks with 24, second in the PUL. Schrader with momentum, takes the shot, big flick, it sails. What a beautiful read there. That was incredible.
Yeah, Schrader with a dot there, really, really well placed for her teammate.
Annie Shriver there brings it home. And I thought had underread it, really scooped under, but maybe just playing the defense perfectly there. Look, with momentum, no hesitation, just slings it.
Yeah, and just a little tiny hot pocket, and there Ava Fisher is pretty upset. She thought she read the ball there pretty well, but yeah, it just gets over her head. Really, really good throw from Schrader there.
Yeah, and you watch, the disc just hangs up, doesn't drop. And I think excellent motion, too, from Shriver, just getting up, really kind of pushing the defense a little bit out of the way and then scooping out into space. That's a pro move.
Shriver, great awareness for who of your teammates has the ball, too. I mean, Aaron is going to want to push that Frisbee down the field, right? So really, really good timing, cut setup from Shriver there. And once again, Schrader is just absolutely marshaling this offense for the Monarchs.
Eating, absolutely eating, nonstop. And we talked about the record, like just tally, tally, tally. Locking up that second place in the league right now.
Yeah, and if I was the Strike D-line coach right now, I'd be trying to figure out how we can stop that momentum from the Monarchs. They've been getting a couple easy scores the past couple of possessions here. What do we need to adjust in order to do that?
Well, and remember, KJ, we had talked to Coach Genghis and had talked about specifically wanting to take away the back end, but Schrader's flick has been equally deadly this game.
Yeah, it looks like Schrader can just beat you both ways, regardless of the mark.
Good acceleration from Daly. Pin to the sideline. Really looking to get that reset. Goes up the line. Johnson McKee completely misread, though, and that's an easy pickoff D by Sadie Redding. Big, big, big opportunity here. Catch. Milwaukee would love to go up a break. Remember, we are on serve right now, so they are up, but the possession will trade. Pruka under pressure from Steph Wood. A lot of disconnect right now between the handler and cutter set. Minnesota putting on the defensive pressure. Daly goes underneath, gets a hand on the disc, knocks it down, gets possession back, and will pick up as well.
Yeah, you could see there that the Monarchs are having a really hard time connecting to their downfield cutters. Really good from the Strike defense to sit underneath their cutters and push them out to disconnect from the handlers.
Johnson McKee just doing everything here. Byers shot. Did she give it enough? Big bid.
Oh, no.
Woods misses the bid and goes down with an injury. That is a tough one for Strike.
I thought we were going to get round 2 of that surge bid that she had when she was playing the Philadelphia Surge the other week.
Yeah, and that was very much a trust, though. You could see Byers fully expecting and just a little bit too far. Let's look at this one more time. So Johnson McKee up to Byers. Byers wide open.
I like the decision from Byers here. I mean, if Steph has steps, you obviously just put her out in space. Just a little too far, though. Mm-hmm. Hopefully Steph's able to get back in the game here. Hopefully it's just a minor injury.
So Milwaukee, one more opportunity. Immediate big backhand out to space. Cohen was really in the hunt for that, but Byers gets redemption, gets the D back.
Yeah, you could tell she had a little extra oomph in her step there, try to get the D back for the Strike offense.
So Strike now with a full 70 to go, just marching up the field now, making quick work, finding all these soft empty spots. Aria Kishner comes up with one, bobbles it, but saves.
Great concentration there. Byers open deep.
Monshine pivoting, working here with Aria Kishner. Has an open Byers, but the mark flashes and takes it away. That's a good read by the defense. Diving save. Monshine comes up with it, getting towards the red zone. Mia Beeman-Weber just relentless in that backfield space, but too much sauce goes down for Raisin Johnson. Milwaukee ball again. Immediately attacking deep. Yeah, Beeman Weber runs it down. This is just Chaos City, KJ.
Yeah, are we seeing some extra wind that's getting on the field? It seems like the disc is getting pushed up just a little bit out in the field. Wow, great box out there from Monshine.
That is a huge one. What a momentum swinging point.
Yeah. Huge for the Strike to put that one in there. Obviously, a bunch of back and forth turnovers from both teams. Good for them to keep the momentum. Like I was saying, Kelsey, it looks like it's getting a little bit more windy out on the field there. Obviously, taking effect on that point. You could see the disc popping up here and there. So.
And KJ, when we were down on the field, it was pretty flat. No wind to speak of, but the sun is setting here in St. Paul. They've got the lights turned on the field, and that could be a factor. What a big play. Through a little bit of the contact, but you could see no harm, no foul there with Pruka. I love this cross-field shot, putting it where Pruka didn't really have a play out into space for Monshine.
Yep.
That's a good look from Daly.
Yeah, Monshine originally playing for UW Belladonna. Her and Austin Pruka probably know each other from Frisbee back in the day in that community. So good to see them hug and embrace each other after the point.
Well, and that's what both of these teams said in a lot of different ways, right? They are here for fun.
Yeah.
They are absolutely here to be competitive, and you're seeing that on the field and in the way they're playing. This also a lot more high scoring than the other games that we've seen so far.
Yes, yeah. A lot of the other games that we've seen from these two teams, really low scoring, less wind today. Obviously, at previous point, there's a couple of wind-affected throws, but yeah.
Strike still pushing Milwaukee out to the outsides of the field. Milwaukee doing some yard gainage, but a little bit of a disconnect. Miscommunication there. Disc goes down. Monshine will be the one to pick it up. Monshine has done a lot of defensive work for this Strike team, even though she just scored the goal on the previous point. Claire Lee wanted someone going deep. Now looking for a reset, sends it cross field.
Great space throw.
And those space throws and the cues among the handle set, that was something that Strike was working on, right, KJ?
Yeah, before the game we were talking with the coaches, and like we said at the earlier point in the broadcast, and we get a pull.
Big shot up, Monshine skies! Hanging up there, brings it down, and wide open breaking score for Minnesota.
This is a huge response from the Minnesota D-line, having a lot of hard times getting enough pressure on this Monarch O-line. Really good adjustments from the D there. Obviously disconnecting from the handler space, and leads to another score here for the D-line O.
And you can see the energy on the field. Strike really wanted that. Look at the confidence. This one, you can see the flag and you can see the disc just skying up. Monshine, full confidence there.
Yeah, Monshine going up with a couple defenders in the space too, right? I like Ava Fisher just putting this ball out to space there, right? Looks like it's getting a little bit windier on the field. They need to take that opportunity to push the ball down the field. I really like that decision from Ava Fisher, just allowing her teammate to make play on it.
And I love Ekstrom's awareness. Saw that Monshine was going to get it or not, immediately started making space, and then as soon as she got it, positioned herself, no defender in sight, easy score.
Yeah, a lot of times you see those off-ball offensive players just try to go and get the disc and get a quick one from someone, but pushing down the field, allowing Monshine to have some space, really good awareness from her teammates.
So now, KJ, if you're Milwaukee, this is a really good opportunity to practice that vibe, right? No sharp drops, no really high highs. If you're the coach, what are you looking for them here?
Yeah, right. As I'm going to the line or helping get the O-line out there, I'm telling, hey, let's just make sure to take this point by point, right? Ride the waves of the game, and just get back to what we were doing and what we were having success with earlier in the game.
Flat marks again from Strike, really looking to gum things up for Milwaukee, but they are doing these quick little side-to-side dishes to get past it and connect to the next layer. Schrader right now with the disc, had Pruka going up line, goes to the second, and the backhand confidence there, just that little dish up the line. Full confidence in Kern's ability to chase it down.
We see Byers crossing over to the D-line here, try to apply some pressure to Schrader, see if we can get a stop here. Really important point for both teams here.
Fun getting the Fireside Ostergaard matchup. That's a lot of explosivity. Line drive intended, I think, for Schrader, but into traffic, too low, gets knocked down by Strike.
Millie Ray with the block.
Yeah, like I was saying, we see Steph and Danny Byers crossing over to D-line point here. I think Strike is really putting extra emphasis of the importance of this point and kind of riding this momentum that they currently have.
And this is definitely a big one. It looks like we do see a timeout called. And I think both teams recognizing the importance of this point.
Timeout call before the throw.
A little more recognition while we're in this timeout for some of our sponsors. Intuition is a local women-owned market research company focused on the med tech industry. Learn more about them and their work at in21itioninc.com. That's intuition.com. And this live broadcast is brought to you by the Premier Ultimate League. The PUL is a 501c6 nonprofit. This league has been community funded since day one, and we are so grateful for the support. We ask that you consider donating to help us continue to transform and fulfill our mission. Head to premierultimateleague.com to donate today.
Well, looks like Milwaukee actually had called a timeout previously to that turn.
Talk about a clutch save, KJ.
Yeah, coaches getting their timeouts used in the right periods of times, and we saw that Schrader was having a really hard time getting open on that reset pressure from Byers, so really crucial for them to maintain possession of the disc here.
Schrader again using that little inside backhand to get momentum as she attacks. Give go there with Kern. Just quick movement. So much confidence from this Milwaukee handle set. Still working purely a handle dominator. Pruko diving big.
Wow.
Comes up with that one. Through pressure from Monshine. Discs up. Defense and red on the back line for Milwaukee. That was an incredible play.
Yeah.
Big goal there from Sarah Linscomb.
Wow. Yeah. Really good defensive pressure and end zone pressure from the Strike there. I thought Strike were going to get a couple Ds there, but Milwaukee just read the disc better and came out with a couple of good plays.
The way that, again, looks like Monshine got a hand on the disc. Pruka just locked in, finds that window. The pressure there because Millie Wright almost got a hand on it.
Oh, yeah. Millie
Monshine
Wright
did get a hand on it.
Yeah.
That was incredible. What tenacity from Monarch to come up with that goal.
Right, and really important hold there from here. It looks like it's starting to become a slightly upwind direction that we're attacking into that end zone, right? And once again, the handlers from the Monarchs are just being really creative with the spaces that they're attacking right now. I really like the pace that they're playing with from their handlers and just making it easier for their downfield cutters just to time things off of those creative throws.
Well, and KJ, you've played at multiple levels of the sport. One of the things that some teams don't execute well is discipline within the red zone space. Talk about the discipline that Monarch has been showing.
Yeah, they're maintaining possession with their handlers currently right now, and just the cuts from the back or the people that are in the end zone outside the handlers are just making really good timed cuts off of those spaces that the handlers are attacking and not encroaching on their space too much.
And waiting for that forward momentum, right?
Yeah, exactly. At the point where their handler can actually make a strike downfield.
So that forward momentum is something that Strike has also been seeking, really looking to pivot and work across the field, and you're seeing Johnson McKee really put some zing. Love seeing Steph Wood back in the game, KJ.
Yeah, it looks like that injury isn't bothering her anymore. This is great. Being Weber with the disc now. We're getting into red zone opportunity here.
Was looking downfield, had Byers, but the cut was already there, so Byers instead coming in and going for the reset. Johnson McKee under pressure, slings it though, and scores. That's Anik Reagan coming up with that one.
I like seeing this back and forth from the O-lines now. This is great. This is becoming a fun game here, Kelsey.
Well, in the Indian Red, I believe Monarch had 29 turns. What a tighter game by comparison. Both of these teams really upping. And I love that from Johnson McKee. Had that contact, but that left-hand flick out to the outside corner, that's a game cheat if there ever was one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Johnson McKee gained that to her dominant side. I mean, lefties having
Chico.
played,
Instant Chico.
I hate playing against lefties because you think you're setting up the right mark, and then before you know it, they're just shimmying and throwing a throw around you that you're not expecting. So really good spot there from Johnson McKee.
Different angle of attack. And I love That looks like intentional positioning, too, to have Johnson McKee working on that side of the field.
100%. 100%.
So Minnesota still up a break right now and with an opportunity to really continue putting the pressure. Interesting pull. And I'm seeing some facial expression, too. That was Millie right with the field. She knows with that pull, she knows she can throw better. This is excellent field position for Monarch, and they absolutely should take advantage of this.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what kind of set they come out in here, if they come out in a traditional spread or if they try to just get straight into their end zone set, which is kind of more of a vert formation downfield.
And in Wright's defense, it happens.
Yes.
Both of us are pullers. KJ, you and I both. It happens.
Yeah, I had a former teammate once that actually did the exact same thing, but he just fell straight on his face.
Schrader, not the intended target, coming up with that one. Flick, defense is there, misreads, but it's just enough to get it past the fingers of Shriver.
Yeah, great play from Fisher there earlier in the game. She had that one disc pop up above her head. She's probably pretty happy that one stayed in level to the ground there and didn't make any hops.
And something that we've kind of talked about is how much of an absolute green light that Schrader has. That's the first look, though, that they've taken that I wasn't 100% on.
Yeah, really difficult throw.
Felt like an adrenaline rush.
Yeah, I agree.
Fireside Ostergaard down the line to Serenity, has Hendricks going deep, but instead Milwaukee just reads the disc, gets the D, and is back with possession, but very disassembled downfield.
Looks like they're getting back into their flow here, just isolation and cutting down the fourth side.
A lot of patience here from Cohen, but stall count is rising.
Great reset D here, just keeping them on this sideline from the strike.
Strike playing very tight downfield defense. Stall count rising again. This time, though, they get it off Cohen. Down the field to Duffner. Not really gaining a lot of yards, but definitely improving their field position. Bit of a quick switch there. Now gets the disc to Schrader, and I wonder if we'll see
great defense, Jess.
Huge defensive play there by Hendricks. And running through, Monshine now has it with space, winds up.
Got a 2-for-1 going downfield here.
Hendrickson still going. Hendrickson makes the bid and gets it up. What an incredible catch. Bookends for Jess Hendrickson.
Yeah, incredible play there, both on D and O, right? And what I love most about this is you saw Fireside Ostergaard just following the play too, right? And just having that 2-for-1 situation just in case Jess wasn't able to come down with it. She was in the area to be able to potentially make a play on it.
So again, just a little too casual. Hendrickson running through the disc there, but then continuing on. And you saw, not sure if the throw was going to go up, looks down, does that shoulder check, but had so much space. Even a stumble there and still able to close on the disc. What an incredible effort.
Yeah, really good decision from Monshine there too, right? The Monarchs were having a little bit of a tough time there in their end zone offense. That's just very deflating as an offensive unit playing D, seeing this ball go up downfield, because even if Hendrickson doesn't come down with it, they still have the full 70 to go. And once again, Fireside Ostergaard just following the play. I love seeing that. I've seen so many of these discs that either pop over the head or are misread, and then she has the opportunity to potentially get the disc, or as we like to call it, the garbage play.
Yeah, clean up the trash.
Yeah.
Big pull from Clearly. Will it stay out of bounds? That could be an extremely short field for Monarch.
Yeah, Clearly. Her Donovan video recently came out playing for the McAllister for Snatchers. Really, really good puller. I mean, if you watch that first couple of minutes of the video, I mean, that's one of the longer pulls that we've seen tonight going upwind there. So one of the premier college players in the division here for D3.
Thank you for saying that, KJ. I was going to say, for those that don't know, the Donovan is the Player of the Year award for that D3 level. Miscue in the backfield. Talk about a swing the other way. Minnesota here with an opportunity. There must be a wind uptick.
It's got to be. Yeah.
We're seeing these small space miscues accelerating. Pruka unleashes one, and that too will sail. Now, I respect that from a field positioning perspective.
Yeah.
but that's now 3 rushed plays that we've seen.
Yep.
3 immediate turns.
Yeah, I like the look there, obviously, but just putting a little bit different edge on the disc, right? You have Minnesota pinned on this front cone here now, having to go win.
And something to watch, there's been such efficient play that we are still in the first half. 2.5 minutes on the clock, give or take. Time is counting down there. Serenity almost lost control of it, but keeps that pass from Lee. Johnson McKee going up strong.
We've got Haley Chalgren with the disc here, former Vortex player from St. Olaf.
Love this Claire Lee Schrader matchup. Lee, no hesitation. Backhand crossfield. Serenity runs it down. That is another huge break from Minnesota. What a response, considering how that point started.
Yeah, that was an incredibly great point that Claire Lee had there, just making really timely plays with that crossfield shot. Obviously, Millie Wright had a little bit of a hard time on that front cone there. Additionally, later in the point here, you know, Claire Lee gained that upline and just the vision to be hitting that crossfield shot to Serenity there. Really, really good play there from Claire Lee.
The vision on the throw and the timing of the cut to peel and have confidence knowing that Claire Lee has that throw.
Right, yeah, and Frankie just holding space there for a little bit and then just attacking. If she makes that cut a little bit earlier, that throwing angle and also space might not be available, so really good timing from Frankie there.
100%. Strike showing off their chemistry. And remember, they got put through the ringer on that road trip. KJ, that was one of the things that Coach Maggie Peck talked to us of the lessons they learned coming off of those 2 grueling games.
Yeah, I mean, that first matchup that they had with Gridlock, when you just look at their roster on paper, I mean, it's one of the strongest in the league, right,
they're
Kelsey?
phenomenal.
I mean, they put up a battle, like I said earlier, in that first quarter.
Jolie Krebs,
yeah.
Jenny DeJesus.
Yeah, Cartagena. I mean, the list goes on and on. Yeah, not to mention the get a turn here.
Another turn. And this now feels mental from Monarch because that was Childress now. So they've had a change of rotation. They're putting in some fresh legs. Short field here for Strike. Ellie Fireside Ostergaard looking to get the disc. Almost goes to the cone there. Stall count rising. Last-ditch effort. Can't get there. That's a good read by Vermack.
Another quick turn here. Yeah, this just seems like mental fatigue right now, Kelsey. And these short field turns are really inopportune for the Monarch.
Well, and I want to highlight again how clean both teams were in the first 2/3 of this half.
Yeah, it just seemed like the past 3 points, that's just a little mental fatigue building up. And I think like we've talked about so far in this broadcast is the wind as well, right? I think it's really taking effect on the field and tweaking the game a little bit and how it's played.
Things that were working earlier, they need to be a little bit crisper. They need to happen sooner or not at all. And you are also seeing players starting to rethink some of their options. You see Fireside Ostergaard not wanting to jam it to the cone. I like looking for that reset, but didn't have the resets coming.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it looks like Donnie Wood called a timeout there right before Fire Ostergaard threw that turnover. So Minnesota maintains possession in their red zone here, and they're able to get their O-line onto the field.
Little shout out to one of our sponsors at Northwestern Health Sciences University. People come first. In the classroom, the clinics, the hallways. Learn more about their colleges, programs, and online courses at www.nwhealth.edu. Thanks again to our sponsor.
Strike has the disc here, and yeah, like we were saying, Kelsey, these small space throws are going to be really important as the wind picks up, right? We saw earlier in the game a lot of isolation cutting. We're really going to be relying on small space throws here and how they work in the handler space for these 2 teams.
KJ, as we were watching that develop, I thought Strike was going for a zipper play, and I bet Milwaukee thought that too, but instead swinging the disc across the field, really hitting their resets. But they are very distanced from their cutters right now.
Yeah, it's taken a long time for them to connect to the downfield layer here. We need to get a little bit smaller spacing from that front of the stack. And just as I say that, Kishner at the front cone.
Danny Byers to Aria Kishner. You see the excitement. Kishner's been having a great game, and so has Byers.
Yeah, Kishner was out most of the season last year with an injury, one of those Syzygy products. Like we said earlier, Carlton Syzygy is always one of the top contenders for a championship in D1 College Ultimate. fun to see her finally healthy this year. She is a difference maker on the field, Kelsey.
Yeah, from going from just a few points to starting on the O-line, and that has definitely been something that Minnesota has lacked, and I think Milwaukee has had a challenge with getting that young talent incorporated into your team, making sure that you are establishing the future as a program.
Yeah, and this strike team traditionally, I would say, has trended to be a little bit older players. We see this new generation of players on strike, like Beeman Weber and Kishner right here, both Syzygy players. They probably love playing with each other and continuing that being teammates on this team. But yeah, we have a really young core and kind of an older core right now on the strike, and not a lot of players that are just in their prime.
One player that we're not seeing for strike who would be a significant difference maker and part of that old guard is Sarah Mextroff. I mean, talk about tallest body on the field that plays like the tallest body.
Oh, trust me, Kelsey. I know. I used to play with her on Dragon Thruster.
Has she skied you?
No,
I do want to know.
No. Hopefully not sky me, at least from my knowledge. But, boy, it was great throwing deep pucks to her all the time.
Milwaukee upside, inside look to Schrader. Schrader, perfect read. Almost missed that catch, but now here at the doorstep, casual flick out to space. Full confidence for Rachel Kern. Schrader continuing to rack up the assists here in this game.
Yeah, 3.
Sorry, that's Cohen. Cohen on the goal.
3 assists now, Kelsey. I mean, huge engine of this offense right now, right? We had total stats of yards here. I mean, Schrader must be having at least over 50% of the yards, I would say, accumulated for the Monarchs.
Well, and so many of these assists, utilizing their speed to break out downfield, really open up the field, has to be respected under, has to be respected deep. How do you guard that?
Yeah.
Double?
I mean, Schrader is such a versatile player. They are just killing it in the backfield as well as the downfield space, right? They're just completely comfortable in both spaces, and those hybrids are really, really hard to guard and game plan for as D-line coaches.
Well, and talk about being mentally locked in. One of the things we found out is both Schrader and another player, Sydney French, are coaches for Belladonna, who's competing in college regionals, hoping for that spot in college nationals, and choosing to be here instead to compete. KJ, one of the things we haven't talked about, and I definitely want to hit here in the second half, are the playoff stakes of this still early season game for both these teams.
Yeah, I mean, Milwaukee has to be loving the start that they've had this season so far. They went winless last year, didn't have an amazing season in 24, start off with a win already. And Strike, conversely, starting off 0-2, right? This is
Gorgeous.
kind of a must-win game for Strike.
Raisin Johnson just airing it out, counting on Beeman Weber. Beeman Weber horrified that they misread that. Such a chest throw, and I loved the beeline coming across field from Byers. Clock is counting down, 4 seconds left. That's a missed opportunity because they could have just maintained possession. But Weber must have looked just too tempting downfield. Pruka, narrow throw from Childers, brings that one down. They are deep in their own territory. Strike really has to clamp now because the clock is down. They cannot get the disc back. All they can do is defend.
Yeah, Strike right now, they're doing a really good job disconnecting layers here, setting lanes. Looks like we got a call or a pick here. Yeah, Raisin once again with the hand signals there.
We appreciate him up in the booth, and
yeah.
I know the fans in the stands do as well.
Yeah, if I was a defensive coach here, once again, I'd be flatter on the marks, pushing out, and they're attacking upwind here, right? So the chances of that deep puck connecting are quite a bit slimmer.
Something you can kind of see from this angle too, how far away the handles are from the downfield space. A little bit of a whack in the face for Johnson McKee. No hard feelings though.
Yeah, I always love on these little skirmishes and calls that we can always see players smiling. They just appreciate the sport and the competition and one another, and nothing's malicious.
For Mac, gorgeous inside to Childress.
Oh.
Very, very close one there from Johnson. Almost got the disc. Fan, though, stayed focused, kept possession. Working in the backfield. Miscommunication. Disc goes down, and that will do it for the first half, ladies and gentlemen.
Great reset pressure there from the Strike. Yeah, and the score 12-9. I mean, boy, the Strike really took it to them in the second half of that second quarter there, right?
And this is twice now that Minnesota has really opened up gaps and just put the hammer down. We know that Milwaukee can fight back. They did it in the first half. We could see them in the second. But what do we think we've learned so far, KJ, from these two teams?
I mean, if you look at the few turnovers that the Monarchs have had, I mean, most of it's just been either mistimed deep throws or just miscommunication and mistiming on those throws. Other than that, systematically, they just keep doing the same thing. They're going to hit on those shots. And conversely, from strike, I mean, they've been playing great defensive pressure, making subtle adjustments to make those deep throws a little bit harder to connect that the Monarchs were getting earlier in the first half.
Well, and KJ, something I want to draw your attention to. So far, by my count, Strike has 10 separate players that have scored in this game. That's a pretty significant distribution of the wealth, as it were.
Yeah, and you'd love to see that from a team where you're spreading the ball out to multiple players. It puts a lot less pressure and mileage on those players if you're currently looking at the amount of volume that all those players have in touches, where conversely on Monarchs, I mean, we're seeing Pruka, we're seeing Schrader having so many touches and have to filter the ball through them. So, yeah, really like how the Strike is playing right now. We're probably going to see more of the same from the Monarch in terms of those top players really taking control of the game.
Yeah, and I mean, we've seen good players from Duffner, both teams doing an excellent job of running through the disc, getting those quick aggression Ds. And what a heartbreaker there for Lipscomb. Had 2 redemption goals on down the line, though. It's been an exciting first half, KJ.
Yeah, really like this. Once again, just both teams riding waves. Lots of momentum shifts back and forth. Currently, right now, the Strike just have a little bit of the momentum, right? But we could easily see that tide shift coming into the second half here.
And would you say one of the big defensive difference makers has been Strike's ability to convert when they're given those opportunities on defense?
Yeah. No, the defensive handlers are doing a really good job of maintaining possession and also taking those shots when they're available, right? We've seen them take a couple of chances on offense for that D-line O, and they've been panning out for them more than not.
Yeah, we've definitely seen some gorgeous shots. Both teams really taking advantage of that cross-field look to get away from the defense. Expect to see more plays like that big run by Sarah Monshine. And what a bear and back again.
Yeah, Monshine's been doing a really good job in the deep space as a cutter here, making well-timed cuts and also just timing the disc on all these opportunities that she's been getting.
Looks like we are getting a coach interview. We've got our reporter Laura down on the field with Monarch coach Caitlin Murphy. Laura, down to you.
All right, I am here with Monarchs coach Caitlin Murphy. Murph, what's been going well? It's been a pretty good game so far.
Yeah, I think we're probably most impressed with the defensive intensity that we're bringing. We came with some pretty intentional matchups, and we're really proud and I'm just so impressed with their tenacity on defense, especially, and even the second go around, right on the other side of the disc when they have to play defense again. I think. Yeah, I'm just really, really impressed. I'll leave it at that. Their defensive intensity is awesome. Very happy.
So you said you had some intentional matchups. How have you been using those matchups to make good things happen for you?
Yeah, I think we're trying to really dial in on specific player strengths, what we expect, especially in the deep space with Byers, for example, or kind of limiting some of those really talented throwers around, really strong players like Monshine, she's really great in the air. So we're just trying to kind of limit the damage there, which is obviously difficult, but maybe those are a couple of examples. But I think, too, just overall, we're trying to get them to throw a lot of throws, and I think we're being successful on some points with that. So really, the strategy there looks a lot like we wanted to.
And going into the second half, you've got a little bit of a point deficit. What adjustments are you going to make in the game?
Yeah, I think, the biggest thing is just first throw turnovers. I think you take some of those away, and we've got a lot different game, and 3 points is a pretty dangerous margin, right? So I'm not feeling a lot of stress about it, and just trying to bring the team into a second half that has good vibes. They're pretty positive, and just trying to kind of get our sea legs under us a little bit more.
All right, and there you have it. Back to you in the booth.
Thanks so much, Laura and Coach.
All
Some interesting insights to chew on, a lot to think about. We're going to take a quick break, and we will have more for you when we come back.
Hello, fans of the Minnesota Strike. If you're looking to buy your next home or sell the home you're already in, you can trust Realty Guy to help you navigate this treacherous housing market. Bitten by a radioactive housefly in 1993, mild-mannered realtor Brent Johnson became Realty Guy, your real estate super agent. Brent Johnson, Realty Guy with Keller Williams Realty, teamrealtyguy.com. Hello, fans of the Minnesota Strike. If you're looking to buy your next home or sell the home you're already in, you can trust Realty Guy to help you navigate this treacherous housing market. Bitten by a radioactive housefly in 1993, mild-mannered realtor Brent Johnson became Realty Guy, your real estate super agent. Brent Johnson, Realty Guy with Keller Williams Realty, teamrealtyguy.com.
Hello and welcome back to the second half of the Minnesota Strike versus Milwaukee Monarch. It has been an action-packed game so far here in St. Paul, Minnesota at the James Griffin Stadium. There have been just so many ebbs and flows and runs of this game. I'm Kelsey Percy here with Christian Johnson. KJ, give me a wrap-up for those who might be joining us just now. What do they need to know about what happened in the first half?
Yeah, just a bunch of momentum shifts, Kelsey, right? I mean, we saw after the first quarter there, 5-5, and then in that second quarter, you could really see the waves developing and momentum shifting back and forth to both teams. And at the end of the second quarter there, Strike just had the momentum, right? They were connecting on deep shots. They were playing really good defense and disconnecting layers for the Monarch.
And remember, Milwaukee took their first lead in that second quarter. We know they can come back. We expect them to make another push, but Strike definitely has to have felt some confidence coming out of that.
If you're enjoying today's stream, please consider donating by scanning the QR code on your screen or at strikeultimate.com. Minnesota Strike is a non-profit organization, and all donations go toward player pay, travel, costs, and bringing you high-quality live streams like the one today. Thank you for supporting the Strike.
Appreciate all of y'all listening to us here on the broadcast. We enjoy doing it, and it's, we know, fun for the players to watch each other's film, but also just so good to raise the level and awareness of the sport, right? Think even a decade ago, you did not have this level of coverage. It's such a treat and such a good way to learn and to grow as players, coaches, and fans. Yeah,
and the players deserve it, right, Kelsey? I mean, having this opportunity to play professional ultimate for both genders in the cities and have, oh, wow.
We're going to turn our attention. That was an incredible bid, look, from Danny Byers. Strike didn't waste any time. We were up here wrapping up our thoughts in the booth, and Strike was going, no, we're headed for the end zone.
Yep. Yeah, good shot there just off of Byers' hands there in the end zone.
So Milwaukee will get it. They are on their end zone line. They've got a long way to go, and Minnesota is clamping on defense.
Great switch there from Raisin off of her defender and switching on to Sadie there.
Fan staying calm under pressure. Childers almost picked up the trash. It was off the fingers of Austin Pruka.
And you could see the Strike filtering them down to this flick side of the field. Really difficult, it looks like, to get a reset off of the line there. Really good from Strike just pinning them there.
Byers with the disc. Pruka sealed, didn't let her have that backhand. Now Byers working across the field with Johnson. Had Mia Beeman-Weber. Strike staying extremely patient, though, as they're working it back towards the red zone. Huge bid there. Steph Wood able to maintain possession, but I loved that pressure from Medina. And that must have just rattled a little something loose. Monarch able to come up with another D there. But they are very disconnected from downfield. Can they reconnect, KJ?
Yeah, once again, it looks like the Strike are just putting on a flat mark right here over on the backhand side. Working up over to the break side here now. Yeah, and it looks like they're just having a hard time getting downfield. We see another turn there. These throws over 10 yards are becoming increasingly more difficult as this wind is picking up, Kelsey. Now we see the Strike with the ball here moving upfield.
Beeman-Weber using their size to get that D. Johnson McKee looking for that reset. Beeman-Weber cleared out. Daly coming back, really changing the line of attack. That, yeah, we're seeing a foul. I was going to say, that was an unusual miss there from Johnson. And we are seeing a foul, no contest, so the disc will stay with Johnson. Arya Kishner not getting things going for the Strike. Nothing going on the foreside. Kishner, late stall count, just sends it downfield. Had Beeman-Weber coming, but too late. That was a lot of stagnation, the most we've seen from Strike so far.
Yeah, having a really hard time resetting. Like we said, these throws that are over 10 yards are becoming a lot more difficult. I like the decision from Kishner just to get it down the field, though.
Love the flat mark there from Beeman-Weber, taking it away. Childers had someone going deep. Instead, now they'll work inside. Incredible save again from Pruka, just doing everything here for the Monarch. Pruka sends a flick. Byers is there. Does just enough to tip it outside of the fingers.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of success from Monarch there in that small spaces, working it up the field. I was surprised to see a big big deep shot off that. Looked like they could have worked it in small space a little bit more for that.
Byers almost completely sealed that up. And I think that was Redding trying to make a bid on that play. Will take an injury come off the field. And it looks like they're sending Lulu Nix in, take place of Redding.
Yeah, Redding almost had a second chance on that effort there. Really good layout there, potentially get the goal. Looks like we had Monshine subbing in for Beeman Weber there as an offensive substitution. Byers really deep here.
Byers gets the early yards on the initiation play, rips a backhand out to space. Steph Woods is going. They have done that play before.
Yeah, I love that setup from Byers, getting that deep look and then coming, churning back for an under, and then we get an immediate reset cut too.
No stall on Woods, looking for the reset, and Monarch just really looking to take away all the options, not even worried about setting the stall. Byers and Woods working in space. Woods resets. Monarch doing such a good job of taking away the forward momentum, but their shot to the end zone. Aria Kishner does it again.
Good offensive possession there from the strike. Like we said at the start of that point, we had Byers setting up deep, making that isolation cut under. And then once again, Steph on that reload cut. I mean, what a ball downfield to put that much touch and spin on the disc, right? We see a lot of these discs going downwind in this direction, just kind of sail away from players. Byers playing plenty of touch on the disc for Steph to run under that.
And that sequence is something you'd expect as like a pull play.
Right.
But instead
right.
they're doing that off of several turns, and that is pure chemistry, KJ.
Right.
They've done that before. Mad respect to Monarch, who took away so many of those options, and finally on their third possession, finally getting it on the break side.
Right, you can only take it away for so long, and then just fatigue setting in for the Monarch there. Just couldn't take away on that last possession. And we saw Johnson McKee again getting into that break side. That lefty flick is really hard to guard, right?
And Kirshner was waiting for it. KJ, I want to tease a little bit something out there. You talked about fatigue for Monarch. Are you seeing more fatigue for them right now? And how much of that is, do you think, with how much playtime their offense has been seeing compared to Strikes?
Yeah, fatigue both setting in right now, and also just...
Big ball up. Serenity comes it down. That was intended for Schrader. Are we seeing also some decision fatigue maybe?
Yeah, decision fatigue, and also, that mental fatigue like I was just talking about, and physical fatigue as well. I mean, these points are becoming increasingly longer with multiple turns on points, so you can set up really good D at the first, but as soon as that point lingers on, right, it becomes more and more difficult to take away your first options.
Claire Lee was looking at Fireside Ostergaard, had to holster it. Now trying to get some momentum going, finds Serenity down the side. Serenity has the Schrader matchup, but had enough time to get a backhand. Fireside Ostergaard could not get disc side. And Cassie Duty will get the D there for Monarch.
Yeah, if I were the Monarch O-line here, I would really be urging possession and also just taking what's given, right? At that start of the game, they did a really good job of just taking what was open and hitting those shots and making the easy decisions. It looks like just a lot of mental fatigue is setting in for the Monarch O-line currently.
Big shot downfield. I thought Cohen was going to run it down, but it will go out of bounds first. That's a tough one. Does get improved field position for Monarch, but these are costly. As you were saying, KJ, these are more time for their offense to be playing defense on the field, more energy exerted, and we are still in the top of the third quarter.
Yeah, I mean, these possessions, like I said, are becoming longer and longer. You're seeing more and more turns on these points, especially with an offense. I mean, there's a reason they're the O-line, not the D-line, Kelsey. It weighs on that O-line to have to play D over and over again on these possessions.
Very different mentality, right?
Oh.
Fireside Ostergaard, huge bid, but it will go to the dirt. And Duty was just off and running, pulls the defense, giving Monarch a little bit of space. They'll take advantage of that help defense and get a big gainer up the side. Love Shriver's awareness there. Shriver working in the backfield with Lipscomb. Aaron Schrader still getting open fairly effortlessly. Sends the flick out to space. Shriver again using legs. They're on the doorstep. Quick toss. That's a big one. Cohen bringing it home for the Monarchs.
Yeah, way to right the ship there for the Monarchs. if you look back at that throw, right, Schrader just, essentially it was just a space throw and trust throw. I mean, we didn't even have any cutters really cutting from the back there, but just great touch on the throw and just letting your teammate make a play on it. We see it right here.
Yeah, not even stepping onto it,
No.
just a good snap of the wrist. You could see it there.
Yeah.
And then Cohen following the disc.
Yeah.
That's something we've heard of. Some of the best plays have been teammates following the play.
Yeah, we have on the break side here a teammate, getting open right here. They overcommit to this break side here, and then we just have Cohen, just an easy little goal there on the front line. And you can see the sense of relief from Cohen there to get a hold.
Duty sets that up for success, pulling Fireside Ostergaard. So big opportunity. Strike now putting their offense back on the field. Milwaukee has to feel energized.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And they'll put their best foot forward. You can see Austin Pruka kind of marshaling the defense there.
Yeah, Vermaak on the pole here. Let's see what they can do and see if they make any adjustments, Kelsey. We've been seeing them throw a lot of, fastballs at the strike, but let's see if they come out with something different here as a set.
Gorgeous pull all the way to the 25-yard line.
Oh, Childress almost with the D there.
Steph Woods stayed calm under pressure, but Childress making that a very narrow lane. Danny Byers looking back, has no options. Finally connects with Daly. Again, Strike not looking as fluid. Their cuts not coming with quite the same timing. Beeman Weber, tough angle, but pulled in by Johnson McKee, and just working, trying to get that momentum. So far, much more clunky from Strike.
Yeah, it looks like they're allowing their cutters to make a bunch of moves downfield as we see the strike here from Byers. Great catch from Anik. Really good catch.
Anik Regan turns on the Jets to bring that one in. That was incredible pressure, though, from the Monarchs. But Minnesota with another clean hold.
Yeah, and like I was saying, Kelsey, it just looked like they were allowing some more time for their cutters downfield to work before they're looking reset there. Really good ball from Byers just out into space. Anik running it down. Anik used to be a track star once upon a time, and McAllister also played for the Georgia Athena back in the day in college. I've seen her run a lot of track workouts, and as you can see, as she's running that down, she's got those 90-90 arms and legs running. You can see her track background. Anik, a really, really good player, fun to watch.
A nice addition of speed
Yes.
for this Minnesota team that has not had as much of it. And so, again, some of those nice new pieces that Minnesota is getting to flex. Something I want to talk about just as we're approaching the fourth quarter is these teams' records last season, how that places them mentally coming into this one, and how important this game is for them going into the rest of the season.
Yeah, like I said earlier, the strike, this is a must-win for them, starting 0-2 with the rest of the season coming up. And as always, this is a border battle between Milwaukee and Minnesota Strike. Always a stiff competition between the two. So obviously, the Strike are kind of behind the 8 ball right now. This is a must-win, and the Monarch obviously starting off the season a lot better than last year. But yeah.
Well, and to be clear, Strike currently 0-2. Milwaukee 1-0, so in third place in the division overall. Minnesota at the bottom. If they want any chance, they really have to get this. Hendrickson with the read in the lane. Small spaces still proving deadly in this game. Monshine now marshaling the attack. LaFrance right now has the disc working with Fireside Ostergaard. Schrader on the ground.
Yeah, calling the field here. Maybe a foul or no contest from Schrader there. Like the hand signals, makes it easier for us in the booth.
100%. Mad respect. Schrader hustling to set the mark, but LaFrance charges up the line, and that is a classic play and a quick score and break for the Strike.
Yeah, that's kind of a backbreaker for the Monarch, right? Going downwind and this upwind hold from the D-line for Strike. Now the Monarch are going to have to work it upfield here. The Strike are really pulling away right now, Kelsey. Good mark there. And once again, this is just a lazy small space throw from the Monarch here, right? I mean, a very telegraphed lefty backhand makes it very easy for the defense to read downfield. And LaFrance just winning that upline battle there.
Well, and Hendrickson, one of the defensive leaders for this game so far. And again, we highlighted the distribution of goals for the strike. KJ, I also want to highlight
the distribution of just pluses on the field, right? Assists,
in general,
goals, Ds.
10 different players with assists.
Everyone's making an impact on this game right now. Love that the striker really spreading out the wealth, and also all of them are making an impact, and all of them are feeling the importance of the game.
Well, and it's that kind of faceless army mentality. We see that a lot from Carleton D3, men's and women's. When you don't have an obvious star power person to miss a gravitary pull, we talked with Gridlock about Krebs and De Jesus and Cartagena.
Yep.
People that just rearrange the field based on where they are.
Another small space turn here, Kelsey.
Small space has just been a tough one. Oof. And a split second inattention, and we've got back-to-back turns here. But again, when you don't have that star power, more inattention, KJ.
Yeah.
Everyone's got the drops.
Yeah.
How do you make up for that? And that's everyone pulling their weight. And we're seeing that honestly from both teams. Both teams doing a really good job, frankly, especially on the defensive side. But right now, Strike on the attack. This would be another break opportunity, and they are in the red zone. Duffner, I believe, taking the injury here. Duffner, I want to say, had some injury issues last year. This might be as simple as cramps, but hopefully we'll get back on the field either in the third or at least the fourth quarter.
Yeah, it looks like cramps stretching out the calves there on the sideline. Just back with Millie right here.
I believe I saw Monshine coming in for Strike. Still looking to see who came in for Monarch. So it looks like Lee will keep the disc. Wanted Monshine, but gets into space. Strike being super patient. Good saving grab there. And again, just these out to space. That was a close one. That must have felt like redemption, KJ.
Right. Yeah, yards per catch on getting that one in. Looks like we have a timeout call from the Strike. Getting their O-line personnel out there.
And I don't know if that was from the sideline or on the field, and I wonder how much a panic was. Oh, I almost dropped it. I don't want to mess this up. Let's call the timeout now.
Yeah, regardless, great call there just to, once again, settle down. You're in a really good end zone opportunity right here. And with this leading score right now, right, 10-15, and just growing the lead, one opportunity.
Well, and something I want to highlight that we haven't explicitly talked about, with the PUL, unlike with club, when you call timeouts, you can do line replacement, right?
Yep.
You can create substitutions, and that is a game changer strategy-wise.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. D-line is on the red zone. You want to give them the opportunity, but what an opportunity to even just bring your O-line out with 10 yards out to go. I mean,
calm nerves, fresh legs.
Yep.
Now, again, Monarchs also with an opportunity to put who they want out there. And you can see them supercharging this line, knowing that they need to make this stand. It's a short field. So Schrader will stay, but they do have Kern on the field.
Yeah, they're keeping their dogs out. They need this one to stay in the game, right? See what the Monarchs will come out for defensive pressure on this red zone opportunity for the Strike.
Really tough defense. What a step out. Byers on the corner, and the observer does throw it in. Byers, big celebration. That was huge. What athleticism, KJ.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to see this connection a lot this year. Raise into Byers, I'm sure. And once again, just playing it out to space and letting your teammate make a play on it, right? If they have a couple of steps, just feed them. Really, really good step out from Raisin there.
Well, and as a fellow handler, KJ, you know how technically difficult that throw is to make because it's virtually blind.
Yeah.
You're stepping out around the handler, and the angle that you have to make to keep that up in space.
Yeah, and we haven't even mentioned, right, as you can see, a lot of these discs are getting pushed down currently with the wind direction right now. So, I mean, the fact that she's able to put that much touch on the disc going downwind, it's getting pushed down out to space. The degree of difficulty on that throw is immense. So really, really great throw there from Raisin.
And Schrader did an excellent job of stepping out and getting her body in front of that throw.
I mean, Schrader made the best effort that they could possible, right, on taking away that throw. Sometimes, hoopers are going to hoop, Kelsey.
Player's going to play. Wow, so what an onslaught for Minnesota Strike here in the third. They are on.
Wow, look at this pole, Kelsey. This has got to be one of the better poles that we've seen of the night. Upwind.
I believe landing in. Yep, so it will not be centered. It will be taken from that corner. Big opportunity, and Minnesota Strike sets immediately. Childers dancing, keeps that in bounds
Great
somehow.
footwork. Yeah, really, really good footwork.
The vision goes crossfield. It hangs up. Pruka's got the read.
Oh,
Maybe some contact there from Serenity. I'm not seeing a call, though. And the wind just playing havoc on that crossfield throw.
Ekstrom picking up here. And Monshine, she's really been marshaling this D-line effort. She's been just a complete rock for this D-line for the Strike when they get it on, though.
Serenity working with Fireside Ostergaard. Pruka did a good job of getting her body in between. No up-the-line shots there. Trying for that cone. That's a tough shot.
Wow.
Just a little bit too much sauce. Sails out. Fish cannot get there. And that is a godsend for Monarch. They get an opportunity here. That looks like a surefire for the Strike.
Yeah. I mean, a step outside the goal there. Should be an easy one. We got Vermont picking up the disc here. Oh, tipped off. Wow. Great pressure mark there.
We have seen some phenomenal marks tonight, KJ.
Yeah, and that goes hand to hand in all of these small space turnovers that we've been seeing from the Monarch, right?
So as Monshine walks it up, if you're Monshine, are you calling for an isolation play?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the front of the stack here for sure. I'm not looking to reset and just allowing a little bit more time, especially when you're in the middle of the field here. Haley Chalgren with the goal. Yeah,
Chalgren with the big celebration, well deserved. Fireside Ostergaard making motion on the front of that end zone, drawing all the attention instead. Confident cut from the back of the stack, KJ.
Yeah, I like that from Chalgren. From what I remember, she got called up late to this game, really making her impact on this game. Really, really good score there from Chalgren. We can see this mark pressure.
Chalgren, bookends.
Bookends. There we go. Double happiness, as we like to say.
Well, and how does that have to feel? As you said, a reserve player, someone that hasn't gotten a lot of game time, getting called up and getting to make an impact on this game.
Right.
It's got to be an incredible feeling.
Confidence is sky high, and it just keeps accumulating as you get more touches and, getting those opportunities we're able to perform. Something I'd like to see from the Monarch here, Kelsey, is just being a little bit more disciplined in that small space area, maybe sending an extra handler back there. They need to do something a little bit different to make those reset throws easier for them. It's been shown to be very difficult for them so far in this third quarter.
In the no wind, they were flawless.
Yep.
They were doing perfectly. But you're right, there hasn't been as much of an adjustment here in the second half.
See what the Strike do here and what the strategy is for Monarch as we're closing in on the third quarter here, moving into the fourth.
Lipscomb, Fan, and Schrader back behind the disc. Duffner back in the game and stretching the field on the far side. So they have pulled kind of that far wing back into more of a handler space. But you can see Lipscomb wanting Fan to be more aggressive and gain more yardage and opportunity because they're not gaining much. So they now have 5 players back sort of behind the disc. Cohen finally helping getting things breaking open. But just like that, Strike breaks it up, and it is also an end of the clock. That's a heartbreaker.
Yeah. I mean, from Monarch here, it would have been nice to punch that one in with that last possession. They need to make a couple adjustments. I like what they're doing there, maintaining possession, making it easier reset throws. But, we'll see what adjustments they come into with fourth quarter.
And we will have more for you. We're going to take a quick break here before the fourth quarter. Back with you soon. Hello and welcome back to the fourth quarter of the Minnesota Strike versus the Milwaukee Monarch. What was a tight and feisty game has really turned into a downpour by the Strike. They brought the squall. Monarch had some feisty fight back in, especially the first quarter. KJ, can they take it to the team? We're going to talk about that in just a second, but first, a shout out to our sponsors. Discraft Ultrastar is the official disc of the Premier Ultimate League. Discraft, the world leader in disc sports. So KJ, rough third quarter for Monarch. They're going to start with possession here. What do you want to see from their handlers?
Yeah, like I was saying in the end of the third quarter there, just maintaining possession, maybe sending an extra handler behind the ball here just to allow for easy resets, right, so they can keep the pace going, really. I mean, it just seems like the pace has dwindled a little bit from their handlers. They're becoming more stagnant downfield. And then that just makes it easier to hit cuts downfield if you're less stagnant as a handler unit.
I like Shriver in that backfield, but incredible run through D. Want to see that was crowd check. Krumau just getting that run through, powering on. And if you see these swings, Strike doing, I think, a better job, KJ, of getting across the field and getting off of those sideline pins. Yeah,
it makes it really hard for a mark as a defender when that disc is going away from you, both to the break side. You have to recover a lot faster, and we'll see a shot here. Wow, unbelievable D.
Incredible, phenomenal D.
Cohen just putting her body on the line there. Great D. Yeah, and like we were saying, right,
That's a season highlight.
I mean, come on. Great D.
That might be the best D of the game, KJ.
Oh, for sure. Even Cassidy was surprised. She was like, wow.
Where did that come from?
Yeah, you can see the striker really trying to push them down to the low side here. Wow. Oh.
Almost a circus play there. LaFrance gets the D, dings it. Fan almost brings it up, but now short field advantage. Can Strike punch it in? And front cone right there. No fuss, no mess. Strike just continues.
Oh,
Monarch
Canada.
In a world of hurt.
Really right, making the Maple Leaf proud there. Love to see that. And once again, a really easy possession there for Strike. These short field turnovers are really hindering the Monarchs to really get anything going right here.
Too many opportunities, KJ.
Yeah.
You can't give that many opportunities, but Strike definitely doing a best case scenario of taking advantage of them.
Yeah.
What a gorgeous run through.
Yeah.
And that throw, I think, just hanging up a little too much. Best D right there from Cohen.
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible.
Yeah, that's got to be the D of the game so far. And once again, just earning it back for her teammates, right?
But the confidence, staying connected, so much patience there. And Monshine, the quick dish. You are never as open, KJ, as when you have just thrown the disc.
Right. Yeah, especially with this rotation there. Millie made a really good job of throwing that disc and trying to lead Monshine into some space, but right before it, just pumping over to the break side to allow for that easy upline there.
And that assist takes Monshine now as the assist leader for the Strike. 3 assists so far this game.
Yeah, and from the D-line, Kelsey.
Coming from the D-line. Tells you the tone of this game, for sure. Minnesota Strike right now on course to break 20 points.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you're the Monarch here, I mean, with time limited, you're going to have to find quick scores here if you want to come back into the game.
Austin Pruka, incredible defensive effort, just reading that space and eating up that disc.
You got Ekstrom picking up the disc here, another opportunity for the D-line-O for Minnesota. Oof.
Pruka there. Chews it up. That was intended for Serenity. And again, we're seeing the disc just popping up. Giving too much opportunity. That one also flying.
Wow.
Way to pick up the trash, though.
Yeah.
Medina, second time she's done that tonight. Vermack working with confidence, but we are just saying the wind play havoc. Minnesota Strike fighting through. Got some fresh legs on the field from the previous point. Clearly coming back for that reset.
Good D. Good pressure there. And running through.
Millie Wright was looking, and I think just thrown behind, but a missed opportunity. Too much excitement from Medina, and that disc goes too far. This is a tough one. Exactly what you were saying, KJ, earlier. I think Milwaukee needs to take a breath.
Yeah, it needs to take a breath here. I mean, multiple opportunities and good Ds to set their O-line up to potentially punch it in again, but yeah.
Strike playing with house money. I will say, for Strike, when they're in this middle of the pack, point differential does play off, can come into the picture later on in the season. They might be in a position where every point counts.
Yeah, if you're the Strike, you don't want to become complacent right now. Just keep your foot on the pedal and keep punching in these scores. We get another Monarch opportunity here.
This is quickly becoming in competition for most turns in a point so far this game, though we've had a couple.
Yeah, and you see, Kelsey, it's just the depth of the stack here, right? We have players 15, 20 yards down the field. It's becoming increasingly more difficult for these players to connect to the handler there. And we see a hard throw there, right, from a result of that.
Hard throw in one that in the first quarter, I guarantee you Pruka would have pulled. And you saw a little of the body language, the frustration from Pruka. Knows that they can pull that disc down, but again, has played so many points.
Yeah. And once again, like we were saying, and looking at the point distribution, we see a shot go up here for Mock with the D.
Clearly did not see the defense hanging out down there. This has gotten a little messy, KJ.
Yeah, and like we were talking about before, Pruka and Schrader and Duffner and some of the main players from Monarchs, they just have a lot of mileage on their body right now, both mentally and physically, right? Look at the point distribution for the Strike. They're really spreading the wealth, right? And you can see now that fatigue starting to set in for the Monarch.
Well, and I'm also curious, temperatures dropped. It's not cold, but we're probably in the 40s. That heat generation takes a little bit out of you, too. If you've got tired muscles, you're going to cramp a little faster.
Yeah.
And down in the first quarter, we saw Duffner go down with cramps already.
Yeah.
We're going to see any of that. You experience it more. You expect it in the summer, but it can hit you in winter, too.
Oh, yeah.
And this is Minnesota. It's still winter, y'all. We're only in our second fall spring.
Yeah, right. I mean, just 2 weeks ago we had snow, and then this past week it was 80 degrees.
It's wild. Taking a big shot there, intended for Claire Lee. Lee has the read, had the focus. Dishing there. Working with Shallgren. Lee, utter confidence, just walks it in.
Tough spot for Sadie Redding there, right? We have an isolated cutter and clearly in the end zone. And once again, Shallgren making her mark on the game, getting called up to the roster. Really good patience from her. I like her just taking her time, seeing that cut develop and just allowing your teammate to get open.
Well, and KJ, talk to me about how it feels to win a tumultuous point like that from an energy perspective.
Look at this energy from Monarch. Hands on hips, right? Like, it's really, really tough to be going back and forth, especially when you're starting on O and just have a backbreaker upline break like that. Or I should say upwind break.
Well, you fought and you've earned the disc back so many times. How then do you walk back on the field one more time? And Monarch was focused on mentality. One of their big focuses, right, was to play their game, to focus on themselves. And doesn't it feel, KJ, like Minnesota is really dictating more of their agenda?
Yeah, I mean, Minnesota's had a few more games under their belt, a game more under their belt than the Monarch. I think they're
trying humble pie.
Yeah, maybe it's just them finally finding their stride, right? They had a couple tough losses, and similar with the Monarch, they've only had one game, right? The season is still super early for them. If I'm getting on the line here, I'm like, hey, how can we build momentum going into the next game and find some success so that we can carry that into our next games?
Well, to be clear, after this game, even assuming Monarch loses it, which 9 is a lot to climb out of, they still have the better record between them and Strike.
Yeah, right.
Because they'll just be 1-1. Strike is 1-2. So yeah, an interesting place, and neither team fully out. But we said an essential win for Minnesota if they're going to have any future down the line and any ability for playoffs.
Yeah, like we said, Minnesota right now, just don't get complacent. Continue to be pushing the pace on offense and also playing good D. You can see them in a zone right now, kind of just tiring them out, kind of playing the long game right now. Monarch finding a lot of success breaking through that zone, and what a put from Schrader.
Schrader in motion had just hit so many of those pockets going down the line, and then a beauty of a flick.
I love that point there from Monarch. They just looked calm and focused. Their whole line knew kind of what was coming there. They took easy throws when they were available, and Schrader just kind of marshaling them down the field, right? Just giving goes, getting into that pocket of space in the zone. Really, really good play there from Schrader.
And tell you what, you saw it just at the end of that clip there. Schrader with the little heel tap.
Right.
When Schrader's in a good mood, in flow state, that's what you see from Schrader. And I love seeing that here. They're down by a lot, but celebrating the small things, that's how you really create a victor mentality. That goldfish memory, you let the rest of it go, you play starting now, and you do the small things right.
Yeah, I love that from Schrader. Also, they're just bumping up their teammates, right? I mean, so what if you're down? You just
Clean
gotta,
hold.
Yep, clean hold. I really like that response from Monarch to get that clean hold. Hopefully they can ride some momentum here.
So strike offense on the field one more time. They've got 5 minutes left on the clock, so still a lot that could be learned and won here in this game. Lots of patience so far from Strike, just working it in the backfield. And for them, you know, at this point, when does it become, killing the clock? But a miscue there thrown behind Anik Regan. That's a big opportunity. Monarch showing no fear. Big shot into the end zone, out to space. Just didn't hold its edge. That's a heartbreaker because Vermaak was right there.
Yeah, I like that look from Sadie Redding to Vermaak, right? Had some space downfield, just different edge, and that's a totally different result. You see the Strike O-line working it up line here again.
Kishner, a little bit too much sauce
Great
for
follow-up
Byers, but what an incredible save and scoop.
Are we gonna see us
Byers
go up?
waiting.
Yes, we are. Come on. Oof.
No good.
Yep.
And again, we're seeing that over-aggressive edge. Byers took that half second to gather that we saw earlier in the game from Lee. I like that, but you didn't see the flat execution needed for, she had two cutters there that can both accelerate out into space, and you need that flat disc, right, KJ?
Yeah, and we saw earlier just a little bit ago that the wind is picking up, right? We're around like 13, 15 mile an hour wind gusts here. The edge becomes that much more important as you're throwing the disc.
Vermaak here, loading up, almost sent it. Daly cutting off that look. Good flat mark there. Pressure from Regan. Pruka saying no foul. Monarch doing a really good job of absorbing those deep cutters as they go, not letting the fast break go.
Yep.
Still staying tenacious on their defense.
Another high throw here.
Fan gets the D point there. And Monarch still alive, still scrapping. They would love to get a break here and put one back up on Minnesota. Byers was wide open in the end zone, threw the arms open saying, I'm here, hit me. Who's stepping up? But a little less of that urgency from Strike than they had in the first half, for sure.
Yeah. Once again, at this point, it's just all about maintaining possession, killing some clock, and just not getting too complacent, right? I mean, we got 2:45 left in the game.
And we were over 5 minutes to start this point.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about killing the clock.
Yeah.
They are executing that.
Certainly doing that.
Anik Regan, though, just bumbles it. Had space, maybe not enough rotation on that disc.
Yeah, I don't mind the push pass look there, but just a few more RPMs on that disc just to make it a little bit easier for Neek to come get that one.
Strike really needs to finish this one out, but again, running the clock, that's a victory from their perspective. Monarch needs to get it out of their own red zone. Vermaak wound up, but Daly absolutely smothering, puts that one away.
Yeah, you can see the O-line handler is doing a really good job on mark pressure there, and just once again disconnecting layers, getting in front of the disc and making sure to kind of keep that mark over the top, so it's really hard to connect.
I'm wondering if Daly's hands hurt from that.
Oh, yeah.
Vermaak was cranking that throw.
I mean, it's not the coldest that we've ever seen in Minnesota, Kelsey, but I'm sure you've seen in a little bit colder weather, even with gloves on.
Watch that again.
That's got to hurt the fingies for sure.
Just lined up. And Vermeck telegraphed that so
Yep.
hard. I'd love to see a fake just to move the mark. Minnesota's marks are too good. And you see Minnesota celebrating that timeout call
Yeah.
because Monarch is gassed,
Yeah.
and they know it, and they're playing with house cards.
Yeah. Yeah, and when you see the O-line putting on that kind of pressure with D, that also fires up the strike as well, right? When you see your O-line wanting to get the disc back in that situation. Got a timeout here on the field.
And so we are going to do a little bit of a shout out to some of our sponsors.
Breakmart Ultimate Apparel is the exclusive official uniform sponsor of the Minnesota Strike in the entire Premier Ultimate League. Get your official Strike jerseys, hats, and more at the team stores and teams.breakmark.group.pul.
Another shout out. This broadcast is brought to you by the Premier Ultimate League. The PUL is a 501c6 nonprofit. This league has been community funded since day one, and we are so grateful for the support. We ask that you consider donating to help us continue to transform and fulfill our mission. Head to premierultimateleague.com to donate today. Again, shout out and appreciation to all of those fans in this online audience. We love the fans that have turned out in person to this game here in St. Paul, Minnesota. But shout out all those folks back home who are supporting Milwaukee from Madison, from Milwaukee, from Chicago. I know this team pulls from across the region.
Yeah, they have some players from Parlay, also as well as Nemesis, the local women's club team there. Yeah, you get quite a bit of pull from teams around the area there.
Schrader, big shot going downfield. Milwaukee really hit
Great
the ground, and Cohen brings that one in. Cohen not even looking to the end zone, really wanting to get the disc off. Doesn't have a stall count until just now as Serenity finally closed in. Cohen confident step out to the end zone, and Milwaukee will put it away. That one, Demert bringing it home.
Earlier in the game, remember we talked about Strike taking away that Aaron Schrader backhand? Well, full display there, right? Cohen. Really good patience from Cohen here, right? Taking their time, finding Demert at that front cone there on that break side throw.
Beautifully timed. That has to feel good, and what a confidence booster.
Yeah, especially coming out of time out there, the coaches got to feel good. Something that they drew up worked and came to fruition, right? An easy score there for the Monarch.
Well, and when you're down like this, you can't pay attention to the score anymore.
Nope.
It's so unlikely that you're going to close that gap, not with 2 minutes on. So every small win counts.
Yeah.
Are you able to successfully execute a play? Are you able to earn the disc back? Are you able to run a good red zone? Is your team, demonstrating good body language when they're down? All of these are wins from a coaching perspective.
Right. I'm sure the D-line coach right here for the Monarch is probably going up to the line here being like, hey, you know what? Let's get them out of rhythm, get them out of their first, second progressions and looks, and take that as a win going into the next few points, obviously the next game that they have here.
Well, each game, each point counts so much more here in the PUL because it's a short season, right, KJ?
Yep. Yeah, I mean, the Strike only have 3 more games after this, Kelsey. So they've already played half of their season.
Mia Weber winds it up, has Byers going. This one could connect. Byers slid and just dinged off of her fingers. The crowd just gasped in disbelief.
Yeah, I was on the edge of my seat there. That was quite the throw from Beeman Weber.
And watch this, full confidence. She owns that catch. We've seen her do that so many times before. But tell you what, opportunity for Monarch. We'd love them to take advantage. That's a huge save.
Follow play.
Great follow-up.
For Mock.
Stanger just absolutely saving the day, but then the dish just goes awry. Milwaukee, I think, still playing with so much confidence, still seeking the end zone, that sense of urgency, but they're losing possession fairly consistently.
Yeah, I liked seeing them pushing great D from Pruka there.
Pruka still just unfazed, going aggressive, getting that D on Byers too.
I mean, Pruka, what a competitor at this point in the game, still showing that level of effort on defense. Really, really good. I really like Milwaukee pushing the ball down the field, though, Kelsey, and really taking those opportunities, especially with the state of the game here.
Childers, surrounded by defense, brings that one home. That's a big one, and you can see how that just elevates the energy of this Monarch team.
Childers 3-on-1, doesn't matter. Front cone, incredible. Also,
Incredible.
really, really good product from UCSB. Burning skirts back when she was in college, moved to the Milwaukee, Madison area. She's a really, really good pickup for this Monarch team.
Well, and has played several years for Flipside on the club scene. And we've seen them regularly in bracket play at nationals for club. So real pedigree and someone that I know this Monarch team was happy to have. Again, look, sharp edge there, carving through the wind. Childers read that like a book, surrounded 3 defenders. No one can touch her.
Yeah.
Love that.
Like we like to say on the team, aim small, miss small. If you're a good thrower and you're putting that space throw out to your teammate. Yeah, Pruka's got to feel really good about getting that D currently on Byers. Very, very stout cutter. We got 51 seconds here. What do you want to see out of the strike here? Closing down into the less than a minute of the game here, Kelsey.
I mean, you want to end high, right? Because it's not just about winning by this big number. Monarch has really fought their way back in. They have won a couple of small victories. I'd love to see some good execution. But it looks like
we have the D-line O out here.
Exactly.
Playing this offensive point.
So Strike putting a lot of trust, putting those fresh legs on the field and really just carving through this defensive look. Love what I'm seeing so far from Strike.
Yeah, I really like this spacing downfield, allowing isolation cuts and this horizontal stack here, and just really easy reset positions here from the handlers. Doesn't make it very hard to reconnect from cutter to handler layer.
And we've seen that confidence on the counterattack from Strike, and now we're seeing it even from this straight-up offensive perspective. But Milwaukee's showing the pressure.
Yeah.
Look at the defensive positioning from their handler defense. They are really making these downfield throws tough to execute.
Yeah, right as Strike started filtering into their vertical stack look, Monarch did a really good job of collapsing and getting into that D.
And Pruka saying, I got that one. That was my finger. I got that D. And if Pruka claims it, I believe it.
This will be the last possession of the game here. Let's see what Monarch can do.
At least 4 Ds so far this game by Pruka.
Yeah.
I might have missed one.
Yeah.
Give Pruka their flowers. Holy buckets.
Yeah, Pruka had an incredible game. Leading the team in Ds, obviously. Assists. She had 2 of them in the game.
And folks, we said 50 seconds. Clock now at 0. This will be the final possession. We talked about point differential. Every point does count. These 2 teams will likely be close in their final record. Can Milwaukee bring it home? Can they keep possession? They can't flinch. Now, confidence throw. Big one going up. Childers is there. Just off the fingertips. What a heartbreaker. Aria Kishner was there with the pressure. That is game. What a show.
I mean, yeah. What a second half from Strike, though, Kelsey. What a second half.
That's a good sign of things to come. Minnesota Strike finishing towards the bottom of the standings. Both these teams, actually. And I love that there is good momentum for both these teams going into the season.
Yeah, things to build on for both teams, obviously. Milwaukee's technically ahead of them in the standings currently right now, right? This must win. Good to get in the win column for Strike. But yeah, I think this is a good reference point for both teams in terms of what they have to improve on, and we'll build for games to come here, right?
A lot of good entertainment. We are going to get a bit of an interview from our MVP of the game, Danny Byers. So waiting a little bit longer for that, but yeah, incredible. So close. First quarter, KJ. Think about that. Milwaukee really putting up a fight, but Minnesota turned on the Jets, really got that point differential, but then we saw that big push by Milwaukee, bringing it back close.
Yeah, and I think it comes down to just the distribution of wealth. If you take a step back and look at the course of this game, Monarch had to work through very few players in high volume touches, and they just fatigued over the game. And once again, just up and down the board, you can see different pluses for the Strike.
All right, so we do have our MVP, Danny Byers, with us. Going down to the field to you, Laura.
I'm here with Daniel Byers. Good game. What do you think went well for the team to have that nice little win?
Yeah, I thought one of our goals, especially on O-line, was just to have joy. Even if mistakes happen, have fun with it. It's gusty here. It's been gusty at our last few games, but I really felt like we kept our spirits up even when turns happened. So I thought that was really nice.
Started out close up until about end of the first half. Kind of pulled away. What helped you pull away?
I think just remembering that we have resets. We can swing the disc all day if we need to, if we don't like what's happening upfield. I think our most successful points were when we did that. We didn't like what we saw. We were comfortable reset it, changing the field as much as we could. And in the reverse, the times we really struggled were when we just kept it on one side and just tried to force too much. So staying patient, using the field, fundamentals all day.
And drive safe.
Do you want to give any shout outs to any of your teammates?
The George Huck block down here in this end zone was absolutely ridiculous. And then Haley had the bookends, also kind of a similar block, just up high. I think those are pretty hard to get, and it was just like really, really fired me up.
Going into the rest of the season, we're halfway through. Are we making any shifts at all?
Maybe. I think there's always like figuring things out. Unfortunately, it's a short season, a short time to do that, but I think we've been pretty flexible so far of being willing to move people, change things, work on things. Yeah, I think as long as we just keep having fun and giving it the best game we have, like that's all I could ask for.
And do you have anything else you'd like to share?
No, I don't. Again, it's a bummer that it's such a short season. Even if you make it to champ weekend, it's like over in a snap. So, just for my team strike, just keep enjoying the ride, enjoying each other, and making the most out of these last couple games that we have.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Back to you guys in the booth.
Laura, Danny, thanks so much. Great getting that insight to by one of the great players of the game. It definitely was a roller coaster, KJ, but as you were saying, strike just pouring out there in the half. Any final thoughts or takeaways from that game?
Yeah, for the strike, obviously building on things that they going into the game, adjustments that they needed to make from the gridlock and surge games. Handlers looked a lot more confident, had a lot more chemistry with each other in small spaces. And if you're the Monarch, you can't hang your head, right? Improving upon last season, right? They clearly have some really, really good top level talent. And yeah, I'm interested to see both these teams for the rest of the season here and how it shakes out in the North Division, right? We have Gridlock and Surge, both really stout teams at the top of the division. They'll be hard to take down.
Absolutely, and you can never count out Indy Red. Definitely one of the firepowers. If you enjoyed today's stream, please consider donating by scanning the QR code on your screen or at strikeultimate.com. Minnesota Strike is a nonprofit organization, and all donations go towards pay or play, travel costs, and bringing you the high-quality streams like the broadcast today. Thank you for supporting the strike. Thank you so much for being in our audience. We had such a pleasure doing this broadcast for you. Again, I'm Kelsey Percy here with Christian Johnson. And yeah, just what a star-studded game with incredible athletic plays. And I really feel like we saw the births of some of the league's new firepower in today's game.
Oh, yeah. No, most definitely. And it's awesome to see. The league is just getting more and more talent, right? And more players coming in the division. Obviously, we have college regionals this weekend, so we'll see a lot more players getting into the fold in the division once that's over. But yeah, just a lot of athleticism and talent on showcase today.
Yeah, a lot of talent in those college teams, and also a lot of talent coaching those teams. We know for the strike, Emma Peasley was out in coaching, so we're definitely going to see a boost down the back end of the season. But I think just a lot to look forward to. We talked about both these teams. We saw some excellent coaching, some adjustments in game, and again, as a former coach, something I love to see, and something that I think just continues to elevate the sport. But again, my big takeaway from this game, just the incredible athleticism, and I want to shout out Austin Pruka for just putting on an incredible fight down the second half.
Yeah, Pruka and Schrader, once again, righting the ship most of the time for the Monarch. I mean, Pruka kept them in this game. I think it could have been a slippery slope if Pruka didn't get some of those Ds in the second half. So,
yeah, big fight. And Strike just being that faceless army, the distribution across and all the way across the reserves, getting the bookends. I mean, how exciting was that for Chalgren?
Yeah, I mean, Chalgren +3 in the game here. I mean, that's something to hang her hat on and gain confidence in as she goes throughout the rest of the season. Monshine just, boy, dominating the deep space and the cutter space, and just really, really calm and collected with the disc. Look at Byers going both ways too. I mean, she's not just a cutter, she's a very stout thrower as well.
And I mean, that defensive turn by Byers taking the mark on Schrader, I feel like was part of the turn in the second half, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, incredible game, one that will be fun to watch back. Again, if you're out in our audience and have stuck with us this far, thank you so much for joining on this PUL broadcast. Again, Kelsey Percy with Christian Johnson saying thank you, good night, and we'll see you again soon.